You don't need nobody. You don't need nobody for validation. You don't need nobody to fulfill your goal. You don't need nobody to control your own thoughts. You don't need nobody to be happy, bro. There's a saying that if the people that you need to be happy and the chemistry is not there, it doesn't feel the same. Sometimes they outgrow you or you agree with them. It's not the same thing, right? It's just saying that separation comes from elevation. You could put it around too. Elevation comes from separation. It all comes on how you want to take this, right? And what I mean by you don't need nobody, you can come terms when you come into that word, when you have this self-trust in order for you to fulfill yourself as the person you want to be like. It's the closest thing and the best thing that will get you where you want to be at, right? And typically, I feel like a lot of people, the way you grew up, the way you experience being around people, it's okay to be with people. But there's also times where people are not going to be there for you. They're not going to contribute to you. They're not going to give you the same energy. And you got to come to a sense where, you can't take them with you in the same level, in the same lifestyle, in the same game plan that you have, because everybody has their own lives. And once you start realizing that you have your own life, it's what really matters, because now you start realizing that it's more to life, Now you're having this self-trust that I know myself. I don't need nobody else, because what I think, what I believe, and what I said to myself, it's important and it's a major key into my life, right? And you don't need validation from nobody. What is validation? Validation is a sort of contraction of a feeling that you need to have from someone else, and you don't need validation for anything. If you did this, it's because you did it for a reason, right? Because you loved it. You wanted to do it. You wanted to try it out. Do it. You don't need to tell everybody your game plan, because not everybody's gonna have the same likeness, the same love, the same experience, the same memories that you have for that concept, and it's just gonna come back together, right? It's just gonna come back together that some people are not gonna have the same feeling that you have for the specific thing, right? And when it comes into gaining validation, when it comes to fitting in society, it's like whenever you hang around with people that you really love, but at the end of the day, you still want to try something new. You're still contributing into your own life. You're still contributing to your own morals. You have to come to understand that, like I said before, some people are not going to have the same terms, the same standards that you have, man. That you have, right? And, the reason why a lot of people are doing that is because you need to learn how to be by yourself. You have to learn how to be alone, right? And once you start being by yourself, now you're not relying on being happy with being these people. You're not relying to, be at the best state of mind, being distracted, whatever you're going through. Once you learn how to be by yourself, you learn how to be yourself, right? There's a difference. Once you learn how to be alone, you know how to be yourself, right? Yourself. And you have your own answers, Once you're yourself, you have your own answers, and that's what you want, because at the end of the day, you don't want to have the same thoughts, the same perspective that other people have, because like I said, you don't need nobody. You don't need nobody's help. You don't need nobody's advice. What you need to do is find yourself first, and then you can take people's advices. because it's gonna be in a much more different state. Let me tell you this. Let's say, for example, you don't know what to do in life. You get inspired by this, you get inspired by that. You're looking at your friend doing this and your friend doing that. But at the end of the day, if it doesn't contribute to anything that you're doing in life, it's not gonna be the same. The same advice that he gave you when you were lost, it's gonna be different when he gives you the same advice, but now you know yourself. Now you know what you want to do in life. Now you know you have that self-confidence into yourself that, okay, you know what? I wanna try something else, man. I don't think this is for me, So you can vibe by yourself, bro. You can vibe by your own thoughts. You can vibe by your own decisions, your own opinions. You don't gotta ride the same wave that they're riding, because it all comes to a sense. It all comes to an awareness that you are what you create. You are who you hang around with, and this is something that could affect your process, your potential, because it all comes to a concept where you have to outgrow people, you have to elevate people, and if you're trying to bring people who they're not growing with you, that's when you gotta take a different path, and that's when you gotta learn how to be by yourself, right? And when it comes into whenever that happens, whenever you become alone, now you're starting to work on yourself. Now you're doing something different. You don't have to defend nobody, right? You don't have to defend. You don't have to stand by their business. Stand by your own business. Be on your own thoughts. You don't have to protect their thoughts, because their thoughts is theirs, right? And once you start giving this energy of you protecting other people's thoughts, now they're gonna be like, okay, this guy, he's a yes man. Basically, that's what I'm trying to say. You become a yes man just by protecting, just by basing off your opinions from other people, and not basing on your own opinion, right? You're basically agreeing to everything what this guy is saying and not contributing to your own consciousness. And you probably are gonna be hearing me, and you probably saying something like, oh yeah, but what does that have to do with me? Like, if I agree with him, I agree with him. Okay, perfect. You agree with him, right? But I agree with him in a perfect manner. I agree with him in a perfect sense that, okay, if I'm gonna agree with this guy, I better have a reason. I better have a stand for it, Because at the end of the day, you also don't want to be protective. You don't want to be attached to people. And because it comes to a point where, when it comes into, outgrowing yourself, when it comes into doing different stuff in life, you're kind of you're contradicted to your own emotions when it comes into that, right? And when it comes into getting money, when it comes into trusting people to your own senses, when it comes into your own thoughts and your own items, how are you going to contribute that, right? How are you going to know if you can trust this guy? And I feel like when it comes into those situations, you have to go through something, you have to go through experience. You have to go through that fatality of someone not contributing to your own beliefs, on your own trust. And it happens a lot, And it's not just coming from me, it comes from a lot of people, from hanging out with the wrong people and with the friends or the environment that doesn't align with them, And you gotta be aware of that, You gotta be aware of who you putting your trust into, or you putting your words into, your own beliefs, your own emotions, your own brain thoughts, because it can affect you, and it can also destroy your life in a seriousness way. And it comes to a way where you might be influenced into a wrong thing, or to a wrong pathway that you don't want to be, right? So be careful, choose who's willing to be in the right, choose who's willing to push you. Be with people who are open into growing into your lives. Be with people who are working on themselves. Be with people who have the same similarities as you. And there's a lot of people out there, man. There's a lot of communities. We got social media now. We got stores, we got like events. Like, just join those courses, join those type of environments into the things that you love, because the more you put yourself into it, the more you will contribute yourself, and you can actually find yourself into doing stuff that they doing and the way they gain money or anything like that, right? But well, this is that's for another topic, of course. But what I'm trying to say is that you don't need nobody. You don't need nobody. In all seriousness, this is all you need. But mainly important, whatever is inside your brain, whatever is inside your heart, is what mainly is focused into your own life, because your own soul is always gonna stuck with you. Your own soul, your own energy, the particles that are inside you are the most important main point. So why would you care if another person who's not even in the same concept as you are, and it's not in the same consciousness that you are? Why does it matter if that person doesn't talk to you no more? Why is that thing that it makes you sad? It's stupid. You're being controlled, you're being manipulated into a wrong sort of way of emotion, when it should be really like a much more understanding, like, okay, the reason why I'm not talking to him no more is because now I'm doing something better. Now I'm focusing on myself and I'm outgrowing people. That's the type of perspective you should see. Don't be sad, don't be mad, but just because the person stopped talking to you, it doesn't make sense. And now you're being controlled by a lot of bipolar emotions when it comes down to it, And when it comes to cutting off people, when it comes to being distant to people, you have to be aware that you did it for a purpose and a reason. And once you know that, hey, it is what it is. It is what it is, right? But yeah, man, it's been Fredo Saga. Let's leave the dimension expansion with some new game, and let's expand it to the whole world, and make it change, right? But you should follow my TikTok and subscribe to my other gaming channel. And to the next one, man. Let's get it.